Hey guys, good to see you. We're going to be... Ooh, I almost lost it there. Trying to get fancy with my handwork there. We have a new package here that just arrived, and I'm actually pretty excited about this. We're going to be talking about the dash cameras in my Jeep. You may recall a year ago, I installed the Vector Offroad E-Dock. That's that big-ass bar that goes on the dash of my truck where I mount my GoPro. I have my iPad, and in the center, I have... What am I figuring? I have my iPad, I have my GoPro, my cell phone on there, my iPhone on there. And so we've got a lot of questions from you guys, or comments that, okay, it's a little big and looking for something a little bit more low profile. I've been getting a handful of questions, some of you going over to Amazon and finding all sorts of options on there. Some of you have been having troubles with regards to when you get onto the trails, your phone and your items are falling down because, well, it's just not holding, and looking for recommendations. And you come across the review that we did on the Vector Off-Road and like the idea of it, but think it's just a little bit too bulky. And as I pointed out many times, my Jeep is, it can be a guinea pig at times, and I don't mind swapping things out. I have no problems with the E-Dock. Has been a phenomenal product, but is the grass greener elsewhere? And today, inside this box, is a product that I think could very well be there. So part of utilizing the Vector Off-Road, you may recall, I have 67 designed clamps and other components that hold from my iPad to my phone to my GoPro accessories. And so it turns out they make a rail system that fits in there. So this is going to be a much lower profile option. And actually, rather than talking about it, let's just crack this sucker open and we can play show and tell. Oops, just dawned on me. Not to go sticking the blade in there so I don't go cutting anything up. So this is pretty exciting stuff here because, okay, installation instructions, which is nice. Okay, let's take a look. Oh yeah, look at that. That is stinking small. Look at that. Designed and made in Texas. I love to see that there. This is really small. So as many of you know, on the Gladiator, that you have that little tray that's up in the front there. So the idea, this is going to plop right in there, and I believe you can actually fit up to 6 items on this. That is pretty darn... Oops. One of the ball heads just went flying up there. Okay, and this... Oh yeah, that looks... What else we got in there? Sticker! I'm not a sticker person, but that's nice. Let's see. Okay, share your adventures. So, leading you over to their social channels here. Okay, this is pretty slick. As many of you know, I have a thing with red accents, and I found out that they had these red arms. It's has this carbon fiber look to it, which is, this looks really nice. And the one thing I really like about these products here from these guys, and the reason why I went with 67 designs on this versus some of the other noise out there is, this goes back to one of the questions that we see coming in from a lot of you folks is, when you have your phones or your iPad mounted on these things here, you're wondering why, when you get on a trail, it's, slowly creeping its way down. A lot of companies out there, they skimp on the products and the material that they use. I've done some reviews on some of these in the past, and you can really notice, if you want to see something pretty interesting, I would encourage you order, like a product from 67 Designs and some of the other, on Amazon and so forth, using that as an example. But you can definitely notice a difference in the build quality and the amount of material that some companies use on, like the little clamp here. And this is really important because, for example, this is the ball head that this thing mounts on. And if you have a clamp that is not a lot of material that's used on it, even though you have this cinched down as far as it can go, what's going to happen is there's always going to be a little flex in the clamp mechanism itself. So the thicker and the more material and the higher quality material that they use on the clamp, for example, that's going to keep this cinched down. And so that's really important when you have an iPad or other heavy devices that are kind of hanging on to these things. But this is going to look really nice. And I'm guessing, I thought I saw an Allen wrench here someplace. Okay, let's take a look at this. I'm actually pretty excited about this here. Again, the Vector Off-Road, no problems with it. It did what it's supposed to. But I'm interested to see how this looks right here. Okay, so this is nice. So these little ball heads right here, you have looks like you have a screw on the bottom, or a head rather. I'm winging this here. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so that fits nice. So this is another thing that I'm seeing that I like right off the get-go with this. Some of the other products on the marketplace, you have a series of bolts that you have to put into the plate that mounts up in there. So, which basically locks you down to that particular position. Once you screw this down into place, that locks you down into that particular location. So if you want to move it, you have to remove this entire piece in order to move the head. With this here, they have a screw head or an Allen wrench on the head on the top there, so you can just loosen that up, cinch it down, put it in the position. That is really slick. I like that. That is really, you know, this company right here, I have to give them mad props because their clamps, we have an upcoming video coming up that's going to be talking about 8 essential items in the cabin. Now, you guys have asked, you know, we've seen a lot of newcomers coming into the overland industry, and so I get a lot of questions. And you know, people that are retrofitting their vehicles for the first time want to find out, you know, they're looking for that duplicatable success. What items should they really focus on? And as I'll say in this video here, what works for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. What I find, 8 essential items for my vehicle is based upon what I use my vehicle for, my personal preference. Your needs for your overland vehicle or personal preferences may be different, but one of the items that where I'm leaning with this here, that these guys also manufacture, and the reason why having a good sturdy arm is really handy, is in the back of my vehicle. I have more of these little ball heads hanging up into the ceiling, and I have an iPad back there for my son. So my son is able to have a hands-free iPad, which is really good. So if they're holding an iPad, they're going to be more susceptible to getting car sick because they're actually looking down and holding it. Versus where it's in a fixed position, that keeps their tummies doing better for a much longer duration. All right, getting back on topic, this is gonna be a fun install. So this part of the video, I was excited, this came in and I was excited to crack this thing open and also let you guys know that after a year of you guys asking questions about, well, there are other low profile options, why did I go with this big bulkier item? Again, it works for me. I finally decided, okay, we'll shift course. We'll pivot a little bit. We'll see if the grass is greener. See if this thing holds up as well as the Vector Off-Road E-Dock. And looking at this and the construction of this could be a lot of fun. It looks like the install is going to be, oops. There's 4 screws on here. And so this could be a breeze. So we'll close things off here and I'll see you in the Jeep. All right, guys. Today is the day. We're going to be taking the Vector Off-Road E-Dock out of here, and we're going to replace it with the 67 design rail system. So as you can see here, there is substantial difference in size and space that both of these rail systems take up. Now the Vector Off-Road is more of a complete dash scenario, but for and then of course the 67 design is just kind of centered on the center part of the dash here. The Vector Off-Road has been a great unit. I've had it on for a year and a half. Part of the allure with this here is you have this bar that covers your entire dash. Now, with the exception of once, I've never used anything more than right here in the center. And so it seems kind of, I would say redundant, but at least for my needs, I don't require this. I know many of you have asked about other options that don't take up so much real estate. Now, I do have some concerns with taking this thing out. Let me share with you. When I installed this, I didn't have the roof rack on the top of the truck here. Now the roof rack is bolted down through the roof, and it would be a pain in the ass to remove this. Then I have the KC lights on the front of this thing here. When I originally installed this, they recommend putting down the windshield. That makes it much more easier to access these various anchor points here on the front here. So I'm hoping that my hex tools that I have might be able to get in there, squeeze it off. So that is my one concern here. So we're going to start off with that. We're going to get this thing removed. Actually, I'll start off with removing my GoPro camera. We'll get some of the stuff out of our way. But it's been a good unit. I've had no problems. I think it looks pretty beefy, but it does take up quite a bit of the space up on the dash here in terms of unnecessary space. And so the 67 design I like. Actually, is Vector Off-Road? I think they're made in the US. I know 67 design is made right in Texas, and as I mentioned in a previous video, I've been using 67 Designs brackets here for, well, actually the same time that I've been using the Vector Off-Road, and I absolutely love the build quality. And whereas other brackets that I've used in the past, when you get off-road, will start, that they grip will start to compromise, and you'll find your phone falling on the ground or this or that. 67 Design, these things are built solid, and I've had zero issues with these. All right, so now I'm at the point where I need to get some my glasses so I don't jack up those. All right, so it is, and I forgot what was back there. I think, oh yes, okay, so I need a couple hex tools and screwdrivers, so let's go get those. Okay, so this one right here, we're going to try this because it has that beveled edge, and I might be able to get it on enough angle. Nope, it's not giving me the grip. Let's try. Next option is, no, that's not getting. The downside of this one is it doesn't have the bevel on the front. So let's try another option. It's going to be the last option that I have. Oh yeah, we should be able to get it with this here. Oh yeah, there we go. Yep. We lucked out. Okay, so we got this one out. We have one more on the other side, and then we have this Phillips screw right here and another one right over there. So we're going to get those pulled out next. Thinking in the background here, there's these little clips, or covers rather, that I removed from the dash when I put these in, and I'm trying to think where the hell I put those. It's funny, a few months back I remember seeing them someplace, and I can't remember what bin. Okay, so now you want to keep, at least in my case, I have two screws with the 67. Oh, wait a minute. Crap, I think I'm supposed to drill holes with that one. That's right. I'm pretty sure that I'm supposed to be drilling a hole with that. Which, okay. Okay, I think. Yeah. Now we're going to, actually I'm going to take this off of here first. So this has, you have 4 screw points, and then you have the 3M double-sided tape on the back. So it's a very straightforward, easy installation. And so that fits nice and neat in there. And actually, I think I should be able to get That's just plastic there, so I think I should be able to, I certainly won't be able to get a drill in there. So we're going to reuse the two that were down there. We're going to clean the surface here, where we're going to put the 3M tape, and then I'm just going to hand drill. Yeah, that's going to be interesting, although, hold on a second here. Okay, so as you can see here, this is very low profile compared to the vertical off-road rail system that was in there. And keep in mind, you can actually fit 6 of these on here as well. So the install of this is really straightforward. We're going to drill a hole. It's already pre-drilled with the rail system there, and then you have the existing screw holes that we just utilized in the last one right here. Those are the easy ones to get in. So this right here, I think an ideal situation, you would drop your windshield, but as I shared a moment ago, that's not really an option here. So I'm hoping that I'm going to mark this, remove the rail here, and I'm hoping I can get just enough angle with my drill, with the shortest drill bit that I have here, that we can still utilize that spot. But as you can see, there's only 4 screws and 3M double-sided tape on the back of this that holds this thing in. And then of course it's very easy that you can add these ball heads on here, which I'll show here in a moment. So you can kind of scale up your windshield setup as needed. So let's go track down the drill bit, get a microfiber cloth to clean up some of that grit that is in there, so that 3M tape is going to have a better chance of sticking. And yeah, this will be wrapped up here sooner than, pretty quick. Okay. It also just dawned on me as well, I have a Dremel tool that, worst case scenario, I can use that. I'm going to wipe this off after I get our hole drill here. Okay, yeah, that's working just fine. And again, what I'm going to hope that I can do is get enough. This is just plastic here, so I want to be careful because I don't know what sensitive electronics are underneath this, but I'm hoping that I can get enough angle here with my we're golden, guys. We're at, and I'm just really creeping it in because at this angle, the drill bit wants to slide all over the place. So of course we want to be careful with that. Okay, now let's clean that surface up there really good. Probably should be using alcohol, but I don't have any, so I'm going to use Windex and call it a day. Okay, let's pre-fit that in there. That looks pretty good. I'm so floored with how flush that is. Now, we're looking pretty good, so I'm going to remove the 3M tape on the back of this thing here. We're going to move to go time. Okay, here we go. Jesus, that 3M tape is, that's probably going to hold it by itself. Okay, let's start off with, let's reuse our screws here. Honestly, if we couldn't have gotten those 2 holes drilled, I'm not really much of a gambling person, but I would bet between the 3M tape and these 2 screws right here, we would have been really good. We would have been just fine. I mean, the whole dash is moving with just those 2 screws in it. So again, we would be just fine with those 2 in there, but we're going to put these other 2 in there because they sent them and we already drilled the hole. Okay, so now we are all mounted in, and as you can see, that is really in there, and that is really flush. That is looking really good. Now we're going to mount the arms and start arranging how we want things laid out. So I shared with you guys last time I moved to a red this time, which is going to complement really nice. And these things are, so I have one of the ball heads in this already. So as you can see, there's a channel. Actually, I do need to remove it. These are super easy to mount in there. And actually, I'm going to put all three in there because it just dawned on me that I have all three items here. And as you can see, so you have this locking mechanism or part here, and then you have a channel of a kind of like a T that's mounted on the brace of the base the base of these ball heads. And so that's going to lock it right into place. Okay, so now we're going to crack open one more, because really I'm just using, while you could fit 6 items on here, I'm only utilizing 3. So I have a GoPro, I have my phone on here, and then I have my tablet, which is a Apple Air that I use for my Gaia GPS. So I'm gonna tentatively put each of these where I want. Okay, next is the fun part. We're gonna take each of these. And I just noticed here something as well. Here is, I'm going to show you something here, and I'm almost curious. 67 Designs, if you guys happen to see this video, I'm kind of curious about this, if there's a difference. So here is my clamps from last year, and you can see there's kind of like these grooves on it, and the new ones don't have it. It looks like these have more material, the new ones in it. Is it cosmetic? Is there a difference? Let me know on that. All right, so we're going to, all right, so the GoPro mounts on the dash, so I'm not going to worry about one of the arms for that. So I'm going to put the other red arm that I picked up here over on the right for the Gaia GPS, or the iPad Air rather. Okay, so all right, so we have the cell phone, we have my iPhone bracket installed in there. We have the iPad bracket off to the right. All right, this one right here is going to be for the GoPro, which, as I can see there, I'm going to have to adjust. I'm holding my phone with one hand as I'm recording this, so I'm going to have to pull this forward right here, and that's going to give me that distance a little bit. I may have to go a little bit further to get it away from the glass, because right now it's hitting up against the windshield there. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so as we can see here, this works out pretty good. I had to shift my phone over just a little bit to avoid the field of view with this GoPro, as that's hitting me as I'm driving. This, I may have to go with a longer brace or longer arm to get that away from the head unit a little bit there. But hey, this looks pretty darn good. And as we can see here, there's a lot more vertical space or availability and less distractions in front of me than what was before. So this is a big plus. All right, guys, and that is it. As you can see, this was a very easy install, with the exception of me having to talk in front of the camera here and remove the the Vector Off-Road e-dock to begin with. This was still a fast install. Now, I suspect if I didn't have anything here and I wasn't talking or playing around with cameras, this would be easily an install that would last less than 10 minutes at most. Again, there's 2 screws there that you're reusing, so you don't have to fuss about. You have the material already. And then there's 2 additional screws that you have to drill, and it's only like an 1/8" plastic, so it's very easy, and they go in very fast. And then you have the 3M double-sided tape. This is a breeze to install this thing. Now, I just need to find where those covers are that I removed to put the e-dock in there to begin with. All right, guys, so that is it for me here today. As always, it's fun to be able to bring you along for the journey. These videos are meant to help you guys get out there, whether in this particular case decide whether or not you want to pick up one of these things, or what's involved in the install, or perhaps you want to see how to install one of these things. Either way, I hope the video was helpful. If it was, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. If you're currently not subscribed to the channel, friend, what are you waiting for? We have a lot of fun, and we would love to have you part of the family. And last but not least, click that bell so therefore you're notified every time that we come out with a new video. Friends, I'm going to try to find those covers. I'm not going to bore you with bringing you along with the video of that, because I'm going to be going through bin after bin trying to find out. I pretty have a good idea where they are. But anyways, we'll close off the camera. We'll shut up the video here so you get out there, stay healthy, and find your adventure.